Hey guys, I just wanted to make this quick video for the 100th time. I keep getting a ton of questions, and every time I think I have them answered in this video, or the video more accurately, I get more and more questions. So hopefully this one will be, comprehensive enough that it kind of handles all the major things. So this is just my 4-hour. You can use this on smaller time frame, 1 hour. Preferably don't be scalping with it. Scalping is fun, but it's also risky because your stop loss alone. So we're just going to say this is my 4-hour kind of very consistent, very easy to follow set of rules. As you guys know, a lot of people in the group right now are talking about Euro NZD. So we're going to discuss Euro NZD primarily because the triple arrows are telling us to sell, but right now we're still making higher highs. So going back to my other chart and kind of this setup, I am going to send you this template. I needed it to be stuff that you guys could actually download versus stuff that you can't get. So these are the kind of the best ones that I can make sure you have a copy of. You'll notice this has the bar alert. There's no info plus on here, but I mean, this is still sufficient. Obviously ADX at my settings, MACD true, that's the one I added to the super easy group. This is actually something I think Pat and I worked with originally. And then we have the Renko maker too, just as added confirmation. So the two indicators that I really want you to truly understand how to use and what we're using are the alert system, as well as the stop loss, which hides your stop loss. It kind of stuffs up your take profit, and it does all of it. So they're really kind of simple and easy to use tools. You will need to download this one into your expert advisors folder, and then this one into your indicators. And obviously you're going to want to make sure you have the same template, or whatever template you use. You can still use something, use the alerts for something, or your auto manager for something as well. So to start with kind of the basics, if I were to be looking at this chart right now and I was waiting for something to happen, that one's a bit close, I'm going to move it up a little higher. I would literally just draw 2 vertical lines. This is for my alert system. So I've got 2 vertical lines. I'm going to right click on my chart, go to indicators. I'm going to click on the alerts, press edit. Now the reason I drew those lines is so I could actually see the numbers without having to play peekaboo or guess what. So let's see, 1.74173. That would be my buy alert, and my sell alert is 1.73414. Okay. You guys will notice that it says display line. Yes, I want that on there. Let me try to be more thorough. Pip sensitivity, you can make that less or more. It's totally up to you. Alert pop-up, you can do that. Alert to email, push notification, line 1, line 2. So yes, we want the alert to email. We definitely want that turned on because we want this alert to go to your phone. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK. And now you guys will see that that literally is exactly where those are. So when price touches this point, which I'm sure is gonna be like now, because the pip sensitivity is set to 3, I'm going to get an alert on my phone. And if I was only looking for buys, for example, if I was above the 50 and I knew everything was kind of buyers were in control, and then I had to go run some errands or take a bike ride or whatever the case may be, then I would literally only set one for the buy. And how to make sure you have those going to your phone is you go to tools up here, go to options, right here under the notification. Oopsie, I just got the alert, the pop-up alert. Right here under notifications and under tools, there's a code on your MT4 on your phone, provided you're logged into the same broker. If we logged into the same broker with the same password, then when anything happens that you want an alert to, you don't want all alerts. Like if this Renko one, we want to turn that off. But when anything happens you do want an alert to, you'll get a message on your MT4. You can even make it sound like a cha-ching sound if you want. And then you know to come over and kind of pop in and take this trade or take a look at it. You're only looking for a handful of good trades. That's it though. So that kind of should answer all the questions in terms of that. I use it mostly for fractal breakouts. I use it for markets like, for instance, right over here, we would have had triple arrows, but let's say we sell it right here and we're just really not satisfied with what we're seeing. So maybe we want it to wait until, one moment, guys. My son is telling Alexa to tell him he's awesome. Shh, I'm recording a video. Thank you. Anyhow, so if I didn't like this, I would set an alert for waiting for the buy to happen. I wanted the more confirmed move. So that's all I would be using it for. And then of course, fractal breakouts. So that should answer most of the questions in terms of how to use it, how to get the alerts on your phone. You'll notice that little horizontal line that I dropped is not gone, it's just behind there, so you can't really see it. So if a few hours later you come back and there's a new fractal and you want to reset an alert, you would just double click on the line and you'll see that little box appear, and then you'll be able to drag that original horizontal line. And obviously to delete them, you right click, delete, right click, delete. So that for the most part is all you need to know about the alerts, and it's super powerful, super awesome. If you were following the triple arrow system and you wanted to wait till after it crossed over the 50, if you wanted to wait till after it had an 8 and 18 cross, or you were waiting for something particularly on your main chart, not your oscillators, you just set an alert. So now you go back and check. You do need to have that chart open though. So like if we were looking at this one, we'd have to have that open. So we'd have to click on a new chart window, drag and drop a new pair, or drag and drop the template, and then have lots of windows open if we want all of those alerts. I usually have 10 to 20 open at any given time on the brokers that I'm actively using. So that's what you need to know about that. In terms of the expert advisor folder, indicator, there's two ways I use this. One is for long-term trades and one is for scalping. I don't scalp a whole bunch, but this, if I am going to scalp, I want to do it protectively, as we've discussed before. So my first advice is obviously play with it. That's the essential part. This does need to be turned on or you won't be able to, it won't work. And if I go to expert advisors, that's what this is up here. I've already dragged it and dropped it on my chart. All those are the same. Allow deal imports and allow live trading, allow input. All this needs to be clicked properly. And now I'm going to go to inputs. These are kind of the current settings I'm using for this broker on this kind of a setup specifically, because I use them a little differently. The most important things you need to know is I don't have an alert. Right here it says put it on all open orders. So essentially, provided your computer is running, or like myself, you're using a VPS and your MT4 is open, any chart, so if I took a trade from my phone, this hidden stop loss and take profit and like trailing stop, all this manager stuff would kick in on every pair that I trade. So even if like I only have it on the Euro NZD chart on my computer, but I took like a GU trade off of my phone while I was out and about, coming home from the grocery store or something, and I did that, which I don't do too often, these managing tools would also be in place provided my VPS is on, my MT4 is open, and the EAs, wow, I'm stuttering a lot, are the main reason why I even have a VPS. So yes, I have it on all open orders. Now to go to the very top, notice that I do have it clicked as hidden. I want my stop loss and my take profit hidden. Okay, I don't need to see them. I just need to know that they're always running. And on this account, which is more of a swing trading account, and I'm kind of still playing with the numbers in terms of that. And like I said, guys, I get knocked out of trades quite often, but I almost always get knocked out of them in profit. So that means I can find a good setup, trust that I'll make money on it, and then just look for the next setup. I don't have to think about it, worry about it, stress about it. I know I can re-enter when it breaks another fractal level, when it pulls back and retests as a fresh crossover, or about 1,000 other things if it has new buy-sell lines. So getting back in is not a concern. My concern is always protecting my profit and making sure that I can trade effectively and manage it effectively, which, as you know, when you're managing multiple accounts, you can't possibly manage all that at the same time. So my current settings, which you can play with, you do not have to follow this, but for a swing trade that I took off of the 4-hour chart, so would be, I have it set at 200 pips. Remember, we always add a digit because this is in points, not pips. So I have it set at 200 pips, so which means 2,000 equals 200. My current stop loss is set at 65 pips. I moved it up a bit because this is AAFX, and as you know, the spread is kind of high. And just to help it from closing on those like times where the spread widens, for instance, at 5 p.m. Eastern time, high news events, and things of that nature, I definitely needed it to be a little bigger than what I had it before. So I don't personally love that stop loss, but it's been much safer at least. So again, it really gets hit. My setting is obviously hidden. Now this is the kind of tricky part. There's two ways that this will, three. It will set your take profit and your stop loss. It will hide that, which is phenomenal for any of you guys know about broker manipulation, which isn't a big deal when you're trading like 0.5s and 0.9s. But when yours is the account that you're trading 100 standards in, being able to hide your take profit is kind of important. When yours is the account where you're trading 500 standards in, being able to hide your take profit and stop loss is very important. So as you know, most of these EAs are very expensive, these trade managers. I have a subscription for several of them, different versions. This one is doable and shareable, doesn't have a key, and it's one of my favorites too. So that's why I'm sharing it as part of my coaching, just so you guys know. So now we have a stop loss and a take profit. This will manage it in two additional ways. Number one, essentially, like, so if you had entered this trade in and around here and it moved up 35 pips, at 33 pips, remember we always drop the last digit, it's going to protect some of your profit. So it will protect well, I like my weird numbers, so it'll protect 9.9 pips in profit. So with or without the trailing stop, once you're up 33, now you're always going to have moved your stop into profit. That's what this does essentially. And you can play with this to find out where you like it. I have this set a little larger than I would on other brokers, primarily because of the widened spread on this broker. But it also does something totally different. So it has a trailing stop, and you have multiple options for how to use that. One of them is no trailing stop. One of them is classic, very self-explanatory if you know what a trailing stop is. Basically, once you're X amount of pips in profit, this EA or this advisor will continue to move up your take profit, your stop loss, and allow the trade to keep running. And then there's step by step. So it'll do it, I don't know how to explain that properly in English, but if it's step by step, like it'll, every 10 pips, it'll move it 2 pips. I'll explain that in a second. And if it's keep the distance, every 10 pips, it will move it. It keeps the distance a little bit differently. And I'll have to explain that better once I kind of go over the next options. I have it set at step, keep the distance. You can choose classic at first while you're learning how to use this. But essentially how I have it set is at a 20 pip trailing stop. So remember, at 33 pips, I'm going to have locked in 9 pips. At 20 pips, okay, my trailing stop will kick in, and if it happens to go the other way, I will have broken even essentially. But if it went 23 pips, for example, then I will close out with 3 pips. Now, if my trade has went 50 pips, to be more, to kind of handle how this works in total, and you'll have to play with it because it works a little differently on different brokers and different spreads and all the other kind of factors you have to factor in there. But let's say my trade was in profit by 50 pips. At 20, my trailing stop is now activated. So now I have a perfectly safe trade, whether or not I'm there, whether I fall asleep or take a vacation, I am protected. And at it won't move it by 20 pips, it'll move it by 5. So it will move my take profit up or my stop loss up by 5 pips at a time. So we're keeping the distance, okay? That's how this will work. And then once I get 33 pips, for example, I still have my trailing stop in profit, and I still have my trailing step, which would have protected 10 pips at that point. But once I hit 33 pips, now I've locked in pips as well. So it's a very all-inclusive way to manage your trades. I'm probably miscommunicating that because it's kind of complicated to explain, but you can just keep it at the basic trailing stop if that's easier for you. And that's literally all I'm doing. Like, it's a really cool EA. It is going to be a huge game changer. Now, if I were using this on a scalping account, for example, I think I do have it up on one. If I were using it on a scalping account, then what would happen is I would have this set to like 40, knowing that I very rarely hit my take profit. I only have it set that high, so in case there's like a huge spike or something, I'll catch it. In case there's a huge drop or a news event or something happens, I catch enough pips. So usually I don't catch all of those, just so you guys know. It's just why I have it set out for the times it does run or pop off because of news. In terms of the scalping one, I would have this set up at about 40, knowing that I almost never hit 40, almost never, except for like on a GBP pair. And I'd have my stop loss set at 25, always adding a 0. My target pips to lock profit in, I believe on one account I have it set at 13, on one account I have it set at 11, one account I have it set at 15. So you kind of have to play with that and decide, because some brokers have lower spreads, and that's very relevant. And on the one I use most frequently for my scalping, I have this set to lock in 7 pips of profit. So that means no matter what, for the most part, I'm going to close out with 7 pips. I made money. I don't have to worry about a loss. So it's a really protected way of trading. And then, of course, you have your trailing stop, which on a scalping method, you have to give it room to move, but you also can't give it too much. So I believe I had it set at 15 with the two or three pip step. So that's kind of what I was doing in terms of a scalping system. For right now, I'd probably just say keep it at the traditional trailing stop because you can comprehend it better. Actually, I probably should do the same thing. But either way, that's how it works. I hope that answers most of your questions in terms of scalping, in terms of long-term, how to use it, and what needs to happen. This will always be managing every trade you enter on that account, no matter if you entered it from a different device or not, provided this MT4 is up and running, which EAs are the primary reason why I have a VPS. Plus, I stopped breaking on my computers once I got a VPS. So that helped a lot. Other than that, I'm going to include a couple of templates. Make sure you guys download all the indicators prior to downloading the templates because otherwise they won't work. I'm really trying to see if I can't get you the right copy of the currency strength indicator, but it's not faring out so well, so I may just have to proceed without it. You guys know that the absolute currency strength one, it's really good. I mean, it's worth having, and you can get that free from the marketplace. So maybe it would be a good idea to start there. It's not the prettiest or easiest to read one, but it's a good one. So it's good enough to be able to take it as Confluent. And I hope that kind of answers most of your questions. And thank you so much for working with me. I love working with each and every one of you. And I'm so excited to hear some of your stories and how they're kind of going for you. So I'm going to cut this off now and hope you guys have a fantastic day.